Hello and welcome to the latest Facebook Live. Andy and Joel here with another Marketing 101. And today you're going to be talking about the best ways to use Facebook ads. Facebook ads, super important.
Yeah, hugely important.
The best thing since Google Ads?
I just knew you were going to say that.
I was trying to think, literally that was off the top of my head.
It was
you
shit. Could tell, yeah. Brilliant.
Sworn already, damn, sorry mother.
Yeah, so Facebook ads. I guess a common misconception, one that I want to get out of the way early doors, is Facebook ads don't just show on Facebook. So Facebook ads can show on Instagram, they can show an audience network which makes up roughly 70% of the internet. So you can do a lot with Facebook ads and target people very, very specifically.
And if you're thinking, I can't spend on Facebook ads, I don't want to spend or I haven't got the money, don't bother with Facebook. If you are a small to medium sized business, there's no point being on Facebook if you haven't got an ad budget, because the organic reach of a Facebook page, i.e. how much of your content will be seen and you're not paying any money, is just 4 to 5%. So it doesn't matter if you've got 1,000 page likes. When you post, those 1,000 people won't all see it. Literally just 50 of them will, if you're lucky. Because Facebook's a business, they want to make money.
Yeah.
But it's a good thing.
Well, yeah, it is a good thing because the Facebook ad platform is so targeted in a way that no other ad platform is. So if you think with a Google search, for pay-per-click to work for you, it relies on the fact that people are searching the terms you want them to search, where a Facebook ad puts your product or service in front of people that you've told it to put it in front of. So if you only do accounting and you only want to target financial directors, you can do that with a Facebook ad. And that's the difference, the kind of difference between push and pull advertising.
Yeah, I mean, we've been doing this a long time and we haven't found an advertising platform as cost effective as Facebook ads. Now, whether you like Facebook or not, whether you like Mark Zuckerberg or not, the fact is, as long as people are happy to tell Facebook who they're married to, where they went to school, whether they're married, whether they've got children, that is data for business owners. And if you don't like the sound of that, then go offline. If you're using a free platform online, whether that's visiting a website, checking the news, checking the website, you're checking for the weather, downloading a free app. When everyone downloaded that free face aging app,
yeah,
they thought, someone wants something. They're not giving stuff away for free. They will want your data. So the only way to avoid that is to either pay for something, like pay for a platform to use it, and then you won't get targeted, or just put up with it. Like, you can't watch ITV without having to put up with the adverts. It's
it's the cost of playing ball, really, isn't it? That's the scenario. So the value in the user base on Facebook is their behaviour, the data that they produce, and that's great news for advertisers because you can target people by those behaviours or their job titles or how many cats they have or whatever it might be. And there's lots of documentaries about this on Netflix and stuff at the moment, and actually,
Social Dilemma.
Yeah, Social Dilemma is a brilliant one. But as a business owner, you need to see the opportunity in that. So if you're selling dog food, obviously you only really want to target people with dogs, and therefore Facebook lets you do that. It doesn't wait for you to wait on them to search for dog food.
Yeah, absolutely. With online advertising, people get annoyed with, all those pop-up privacy policies and, you've got to click here or agree because of cookies and all this kind of stuff. So the way you look at it is either, well, I'm going to get targeted by advertising if I'm online and using free platforms. So would you rather be served any old ad, or would you rather be served ads that should be more targeted to what you're interested in? Because there's no escaping ads. So that's how you got to look at it and make your own mind up whether you just want to go offline or not, really.
Yeah, I've got friends that say they must be being listened to by their phones and their Alexa and their various devices because the ads that they're served are so targeted at them. But that's just the sign of good advertising. It's not necessarily because they're being listened to. It's because they fit the behaviours that the advertiser wants to target. So, you might be talking about going camping and suddenly you're starting to get served camping, adverts for tents. But the reality is, all of your online behaviours and everything you've been up to offline as well has led to that point, and the platform knows that too, and that's the beauty of it for an advertiser.
Yeah, absolutely. And generally speaking, if you are getting served ads on Facebook or whatever, and they're not suitable for you at all, it's probably the advertiser who's made the mistake, not Facebook. It's the advertiser not knowing what they're doing. But we're here to put all that to bed, because we've got some questions here that people have sent in and give you some top tips, what we've learned over the years on how to make the most at Facebook advertising. And the caveat would be, you need at least a £5 a day for a small to medium-sized business, £5 a day, so £150 a month. If you're not willing to test that, well, not much I can do, really.
Yeah, and that's literally the minimum, isn't it?
And what can, I suppose you have to look at what else can that £150 get you from an advertising point of view. The local newspaper.
Maybe, you might get in the parish magazine.
A leaflet printed maybe 10 times.
A big one we talk to people about is, what do you want those ads to do? So if you sell wellies and a pair of your wellies cost 50 quid and you're expecting to be able to get somebody to buy those wellies for 20p, that doesn't make sense. So
Wish I'd known this before. I've just spent £100 a pair of wellies.
What?
Damn, there were £50 wellies out there.
You've got £100 pair of wellies?
Yeah, well, I walk the dogs every day, so it's pretty well spent.
Not the ones with the little frog's eyes on that I always go on about.
No, Superman ones.
Yours?
No, they're not really. They're just green barber ones.
Fancy. Fancy. Yeah. Well, I'm thrown now.
Yeah, what are we talking about?
Basically.
Wellies. Oh, yeah, right.
If you're selling a product for 50 quid, expect your cost per acquisition to be somewhere between 10 quid and 25 quid. Because that's the cost of doing business. And then if you haven't got the margins in there with that marketing budget, then you need to have a look at different ways of getting it out there, or digital advertising might not be for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's all about that return. If you want to spend 10 pence to acquire a £50 customer, like Joel said, the maths don't stack up.
Yeah, you'll have to have an unbelievable campaign to make that happen.
I mean, it'd be lovely if it does happen, don't get me wrong. Ideally, you want customers for free. But if you can't or won't pay money to acquire a new customer, you haven't got a sustainable business. You can't rely on word of mouth. As lovely as your best customers are, if your entire business model, if your livelihood is being solely placed in your customers' hands, and you're there hoping they go out and refer all their friends to you, well, you're in a risky business.
Yeah, I was going to say the transaction is time or money or both. So either you spend more on ads to generate more inquiries, to generate more sales, or you put more time into your business to service more inquiries and generate more sales, or you do both. The less you spend, the less people you're putting it in front of, and then so therefore the less people convert.
Yeah, I mean, we literally invested everything when John and I started up our own businesses all those years ago. Didn't have a pot to pee in. I was going to say something else then. So we invested our time instead, out networking 3-4 times a week, working evenings, weekends. Yet sometimes we'll speak to a new business owner who's like, networking, 7 in the morning, I'm not doing that, I'm not working evenings, I'm not working weekends, and you've got no marketing budget, well,
it's one or the other or both.
I don't know how you're going to survive then, good luck with that. So, should we get on with some questions?
Yeah, so if you've got any questions whilst we're chatting, leave them in the comments and one of the team will get back to you. We've had some questions submitted beforehand which we'll go through, and we'll go from there.
Heather.
Hi Heather.
Is my audience on Facebook? I have been told that I need to be running Facebook ads to get more people on my website. Good start. But I'm unsure if my audience is on Facebook, so will these ads work?
Ooh.
Well, you sort of mentioned that.
Yeah, so Facebook ads don't just show on Facebook. But in answer to your question, nearly everybody's on Facebook. That's kind of the general misconception is that there's demographic groups that aren't on Facebook, but now they are. I mean, everyone knows someone that's deliberately not on Facebook. I know a couple of people, and that's fine. And yeah, you might have to discount them, but there's a lot of bloody people on Facebook.
A lot of businesses will think that their business is unique. Now, of course, it will be unique to you, and there'll be unique people running the business. But generally speaking, a business isn't so special. Their audience isn't on Facebook. Like, probably every week we'll talk to a business owner. yeah, my audience, my customer target audience, no, they're not on Facebook. Well, chances are they are. They are. It doesn't matter what age they are. It doesn't matter whether they're rich, poor, fat, thin. Doesn't matter. They'll probably will be on Facebook. But even if they're not, they're going to be on other websites. They're going to be browsing the internet. And when you see an ad on a website, chances are it's either hosted by Facebook or by Google. So the ads will appear on Facebook, yes, but they'll also appear on all these other external websites that Facebook partners with.
Yeah.
So what did you say it's called?
What was the question? Facebook Audience Network.
Audience Network, there we go. I'm unsure if my audience is on Facebook, so will these ads work? Well, yes.
And there's traffic to the website, isn't it? So,
Yes.
yeah, Heather, there's a clicks to website type of ad that you can run with Facebook. And if traffic is what you're looking for, you could drive traffic from a very specific target audience with that type of ad. The things you want to be looking at are, does your content resonate with those people? So does the actual text and imagery within the ad speak to those people and make them want to read more and go and visit your website? And then when they do reach your website, please don't just expect them to inquire. That is not customer behaviour. People don't just click an ad, go to a website and inquire. They'll probably want to visit that website a few times. You'll want to consider retargeting ads that show your brand to them again when they've left the website, and really start to build relationships with those visitors. So they're your cold leads. They're nowhere near warm leads yet, and they're certainly not a sale. And you've really got to build from that point. So we've got clients where it's taken a year to build up that kind of web traffic, get it to the point where it needs to be, and start to gain that trust from their audience, and then they start to see the trickle down effect.
Yeah, absolutely. And if your goal, Heather, is to get people to your website, you need to think, right, what is that specific web page I need to take people to? Never take an ad to your homepage. Your homepage should be a general overview of the benefits you offer, of the pain that you solve. But an ad should be about one specific thing. And so where they land needs to be about that one specific thing. So drive them to a landing page specifically relating to that ad. So focus on that first, rather than spend loads of money on a Facebook ad and you get lots of traffic, but no actual customer buy-in or engagement. They land somewhere that looks rubbish, doesn't work properly on a mobile, is too generic rather than specific. So focus on that first, and stay away from video ads. As great as video is on social media, if your goal is to get people to a website, we've had much better success for clients using image-based ads. A video, people watch and it's engaging, oh brilliant, but you don't want them to engage the video, you want them to click that little button to go to the website. So
the video is brilliant for retargeting later on, because it allows you to get more information across without them having to click away, and they've already been exposed to your website and your brand. But that's the retargeting element. Initially, you just want people to say, blimey, that's me, I need to know more about that, click.
Yeah, cool. Excellent. So I hope that's out, Heather. Question from Joseph now. Excellent. With the new rules on image text, bloody hell, he's hot off. This is hot off the press. With the new rules on image text, is it a case of the more text the better, or is there any danger that comes with a change?
Okay, so this is in my territory.
Yeah, this is brand new. What's the 20% rule, Joel?
So, back in the day, you're about to launch a Facebook ad, and whether someone in the picture is wearing a t-shirt with lots of text on it, whether you write text across the image, whether you put an offer on the image, if you try and launch that ad, Facebook would throttle it. So if you were taking up more than 20% of the real estate on the image, Facebook throttled your ads. I've got that right, haven't I?
Yeah, your ad will get seen by fewer people.
Yes. And this was a massive problem for some businesses, particularly businesses where maybe they're service-based and there isn't much imagery for their service. So if they're selling maybe like an online package or something like that, and actually they want to get a bit more information in their ad, they couldn't, because Facebook essentially saw it as you were trying to sneak text into an image, and you might be saying something that goes against their terms and conditions. Where now, obviously their algorithm and their robots have got so clever that they can read text on an image anyway. And so what they've said is you'll no longer be punished for that. However.
So expect to see loads of ads now that have got text in the images and looking bloody awful.
Yeah, so we've all been to networking groups where someone gives you a business card that might as well be a brochure. that's the risk with the new rules, is that people try and cram in way more information than they should, and their image or video that's an important part of the ad loses all of its impact because it's crammed with text, or the text is too close to the edge. So you could be a really prestigious brand and very quickly make yourself look like a bargain basement type thing.
I'm a fan of the 20% text rule. I think it's good. It's good training. Like you say, a good example, when Twitter changed from 140 characters to 280, you had loads of people think, oh, brilliant, I've got more room to write. No, stick with 140 characters. Like with Facebook, I don't think there's a character limit on a post. So some people just write and write and write. Well, sometimes the best posts are the shortest. Generally speaking, one or two sentences, that's all you need. So whenever we split test Facebook ads out for clients, we will do short form ads with literally one or two sentences, and we'll do a few long form variations. And generally speaking, it's the shorter ones that work best.
Yeah, massively.
See, my mum always told me short was best.
Yeah.
She was right.
So yeah, where are we going with that? So the massive risk you've got, everyone will have seen these, I think. You know the sunglasses adverts that occasionally crop up every once in a while, where you can get some Ray-Bans for 50p and nobody understands why. And they're always like a picture packed full of sunglasses and text and buy now, blah, blah, blah. And it'll always be when one of your mates has got hacked and their feed suddenly gets filled with all these sunglasses or trainers I've seen. That is the risk with these ads, is you could start really looking crap.
Yeah, please don't be I mean, I think most of the ads we're running at the moment don't have any text at all. And we will do some tests. Now this rule's been removed, we'll start using a bit more text in ads, but we'll be monitoring it very carefully. And I've got a feeling, especially if you're, like Joel says, a premium brand, just don't
avoid it.
Oh God, yeah, please don't cram your ad images full of text.
And I guess the temptation would be you could put an offer on the image, which would, you see that a lot in advertising, 10% off or 50% off or whatever it might be. But the Facebook offer ad allows you to put a little banner on the top corner of the image anyway with your offer on it. So don't ruin your image by trying to fit that text in. Just let the Facebook system do that work for you.
I mean, if you look at premium brands, I know Apple, BMW, Jaguar, whatever, you won't find nice images with text plastered all over them.
No.
They'll just be totally compromising their brand and their quality.
And even when they do editorial, if it's a double page spread, the second page will be an image only and the first page will be copy only. They very rarely will do something where they're overlaying lots of text on an image, because it dilutes the ad. Yeah.
And it's very, if you're a local business and you want to show off the people behind your business to make it clear that people are dealing with individuals rather than some big faceless corporation, and so you want to use people in your ad images, don't have text going over their faces and everything like that. Make sure people can actually see the faces. Sounds quite simple, but it's unbelievable how many pictures you'll see of a team and they've got like a banner that's like obscuring half their chin or something like that. So just that's a quick little tip.
Yeah.
So right, Brandon. Oh, cool.
Hi, Brandon.
Is that Bruce Lee's son? Was he
Brandon
Brandon?
Lee,
The Crow. Very cool film. Brandon, I have lots of traffic coming to my site from my Facebook ads, and I'm getting strong costs for my clicks. But my average transaction value, bloody hell, some big words here, but my average transaction value is quite high, and people rarely convert the first time they think about my product. What is the best way to create further touch points after people have visited my site for the first time?
Oh, I covered this.
Oh, right, so this way, explain what retargeting is then, I guess.
So retargeting is serving content to anybody that's previously visited your website, landing page, or maybe even engaged with an offer or something. It's retargeting people that have previously been exposed to your brand. In this case, it sounds like from a cold lead, the cost per conversion is quite high. I think that's what Brandon's saying. And what we would suggest, so little known fact, but 50% of all e-commerce baskets get abandoned. But yeah, only 10% of 50% of all e-commerce baskets get abandoned. But yeah, only 10% of all e-commerce shops.
I know which 50 my wife's in. She always completes the transaction.
But only 10% of all e-commerce shops retarget those basket abandonments.
Wow.
So Brandon, there's a trick for you straight away. Retarget your basket abandonments. But the other thing is probably only 1% of all of your ad conversions are going to convert into a sale. So that's 99% of that traffic that you can retarget and try and push at. And that's the mindset you need to get into, that there's an actual type of ad called a retargeting ad, but you can retarget with offers, you can retarget with ads, you could be more specific with your retargeting. So you might have a clothes website, and on that clothes website these people have only looked at footwear, so you're only going to serve them footwear ads moving forward. And you'll see that when you go and look at a product, quite often it feels like it follows you around the internet afterwards. That's retargeting.
Yeah, so for some people what we're saying is like we've invented fire, but for others you'll know exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
You will look at that one pair of trainers, and then that one pair of trainers will follow you around the internet, generally speaking, for at least a month, because advertisers know you need on average, well, some people say 8 touch points before you actually make that decision to purchase. So unless you're looking for a specific widget and the timing's right, you're in the right mood, the right product at the right price appears to you, then okay, you might purchase straight away. But generally speaking, you need to touch that person more than once, and retargeting is brilliant. If you're getting lots of traffic, if you're spending time or money to get lots of traffic to your website, people come to your website and then disappear. They don't fill out a newsletter form, they don't make a sale. How do you stay in touch with them? You will never know these people. So retargeting is just a brilliant tool. Like every business with a website should be considering retargeting.
Yeah, and you can start to get really smart with it as well. So you can retarget people that have purchased. You could retarget people that are in your funnel. You can retarget people that listen to your podcast. And so you can start doing different ad campaigns for people with different behaviours. So people that have purchased before, perhaps you'll give them a loyalty discount. People that have never purchased, right, what's the incentive to get them to purchase? People that listen to the podcast, you could then serve them ads about something that you talked about in the latest episode. And so you can get really, really smart with it.
Yeah, the scope for it now is just massive, so clever. And the likes of Facebook are making this kind of opportunity available for any size of business, whereas a couple of years ago it was just like the Amazons and the Coca-Colas of the world that could do this. But now it's almost accessible to everyone. They just need the time and the budget and the willingness to learn to keep up with where it's going.
Yeah, I mean the code it would have taken alone to achieve this 5 years ago would have meant to set up a campaign like I just described would be a 5-figure sum at least. Where now you're talking a low 4-figure sum to get that off the ground with an agency plus budget, so you can really do some damage.
Awesome. So hope that's helped, Brandon. Eddie, awesome. Are my ads working? I run an online shop and run some basic conversion campaigns on Facebook, but I don't know what metrics I should be paying attention to. What is the most important?
Oh, Eddie.
Eddie.
Some good questions today. So, I'm going to assume, Eddie, that your conversion is a sale. Because if you're running a conversion ad for an online shop, I think that's a safe assumption.
Okay.
Or your conversion is a sign up to your funnel, and then the funnel warms them up before the shop. Either way, you probably need if it's the latter and you've got to sign up to a funnel, you probably need a custom conversion to track when those people in the funnel make a purchase. So 1, you can see how much it costs to get a lead, and 2, you can see how much it costs to get a sale. If it's the earlier one and that a conversion is a sale, that metric is the most important thing. How much does a sale cost? Because what you're looking at there is, right, how many people clicked my ad, how many people then went on to buy, and you need to really calculate on the maths. Is it worth my while?
Yeah, I mean, we talk sometimes about paralysis by analysis. Sometimes you can just look, I mean, the amount of stats that Facebook makes available it's absolutely huge, and you need to know what are the most important, the most fundamentally important key metrics. And if it's e-commerce, generally speaking, right, well, yeah, this is how much I'm spending, this is how much it's making. So if you know, well, this ad is generating 10 times the return, bloody hell, just carry on, spend more.
Yeah.
Don't have an ad budget that, I've hit a budget now, I'm not going to spend any more.
Yeah, keep adding to that budget until it plateaus. That's the trick. And then don't change that ad until it starts to dip.
And there will be, I mean, depending on the type of ad, there will be minimum amounts you should spend. So we said at the beginning, spend £5 a day. Generally speaking, that's a minimum we would advise a small to medium sized business runs on a Facebook ad campaign. But if it's conversions, if it's e-commerce, anything like that, you might need more. If it's LinkedIn advertising, for example, you might need £100 a day. So there will be amounts where you just won't see any, you won't get any discernible traffic to make a judgment call on whether it's worth doing or not.
So most product-based e-commerce businesses are looking for a return of 4 to 1. So for every £1 they spend, they want £4 back, because otherwise they haven't got the margin in their product to do what they need to do. If you sell a virtual product, so software as a service or online packages and stuff, it's 2 to 1, which can seem really harsh, but you can see how volume-led that has to be. We've worked on campaigns that have ran at like 7.5, 8 to 1, 9 to 1, 10 to 1. We quite recently had a customer that in 3 months spent £4,000 and got back £28,000.
And there's not a grey area. This is, if you set it up right, Facebook, and you use Facebook pixel codes and stuff, it will actually say, well, this is how much this specific ad cost, and this is how many sales you generated from this specific ad. Not from, could be from here, could be from there, from that specific ad. Because so many businesses, they're talking about accountability, and for that you do need to drill down to a certain level, and you can do that tracking.
Yeah, even non-e-commerce businesses now, you could run a lead generation ad, be that through a landing page or an actual lead ad, and you could be looking at how much does a lead cost me, and then how much does it cost me when that lead does what I want them to do. So that might be book a call with you, or book an appointment, and then even then you could go even further than that and say, how much does it cost me when they finally make a purchase? And Facebook's clever enough that you can plug in offline purchases now and look at that whole journey. So then in 6 months' time, you can look at that campaign and say, right, well, it cost me £11 per lead, and it cost me £112 per appointment, but then every appointment was worth £3,500 to me. So it all makes sense.
Yeah, so it's difficult when you're looking at accountability. It's why so many traditional media channels are scared of online advertising, because yes, okay, you could put an ad in the paper and you could say, call this number and quote this code, or visit this website and use this code. There's still going to be a lot of grey areas, but with a Facebook ad, if it's done correctly, again, you should be able to track every single penny. And that's why things like landing pages that Joel's mentioned a couple of times, landing pages can work really well. So again, there's no point sending, or very rarely is it worth sending people to your home page. That's just pretty lazy advertising. If you run a clothes shop and you've got an ad for a lady's scarf, you want to send them to a page about ladies' scarves, not to your homepage about menswear and ladies' wear, specifically ladies' scarves. And that's why a landing page can work better for you.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
And obviously, do you want to talk about landing pages?
Yeah, it's all about accountability, really. So there are lots of landing page providers out there, but chances are their systems are tweaked to run quicker than your website. So, and that's not always the case. So obviously we have a lot of control over our website and can run it really quick. But we've ran split tests of a landing page from a landing page provider versus our website, designed to look exactly the same, and the landing page far outperformed our website. So my advice would be, find a reputable landing page provider and leverage it for your campaigns, because what you'll find is you'll get more sign-ups into your funnel, and whether that's right or wrong, that's just the reality. And there's some good ones out there, and it makes your life easy too. It gives you more control. Every time you need to do a new campaign, you aren't necessarily having to get on the phone to your web developer to build you a new page on your website. You can duplicate the last one, change the text, change the images, and off you go.
And landing pages, they're like that sort of old school traditional sales corridor where you close off all these doors of objections along the way. A landing page is there specifically to do one thing, to make that sale, to get people to fill out that form, whatever it is. There's no navigation to go anywhere else, whereas obviously people could land on a page on your website. Oh, that sounds interesting. Oh, there's an About Us page link. Oh, there's a Contact Us page link. And they go, and the longer they spend on your website, the less likely they are to do what you actually want them to
Yeah.
do. Whereas a landing page, it's literally buy or die. Do what we want you to do, or
Jog on.
jog on. Thank God for that. I was going to say something else. If you're not yet using landing pages, it's worth looking into because they can just work so. And once you've got to grips with a provider and you stay with that provider, most of them now have drag and drop functionality, so you don't need to be a technical whiz or anything. And like Joel says, it's right. It gives you the control. You're not having to speak to your web person all the time. Oh, I need a new page. I need a new web page, which is probably going to cost you more as well.
Yeah.
Excellent. Right.
Smash that.
Got through that. Blimey. Any other things about Facebook ads? No, top tips. Keep the text short and sweet. If you find yourself rambling and writing a big long ad, that's fine, but make sure you do split test that against an ad where the copy is short and sweet. Remember mobile in mind. When you start building a Facebook ad, usually the preview that Facebook defaults to is the mobile view, so it will show you how your ad will look like on a mobile, and that's the most important because 9 times out of 10 your potential new customer will be seeing the ad on a mobile. So on a desktop there's loads more room to play with, so that's another good way, another good reason for keeping your text short and sweet. And like with the images, make sure it's an image that's of relevance to your potential customer, not an image that you like. It's got to be an image that your potential customer will like.
Yeah, nailed it.
Excellent. Anything else?
Don't think so.
Brilliant. Right. We'll see you soon for another. We'll talk about next week. We'll see you soon for another edition of Marketing 101.
And remember,
Stay hungry.
all right, take care, everyone.